welcome once again. It's 9 p.m. Eastern out here in the U.S. at New Oaks AI Podcast. I'm your host, Leland Best of Best Studios LLC, along with my guest once again, Ray Levon, CEO of New Oaks AI. So, welcome to the broadcast, Ray.
Thank you. How is everything going in Detroit area?
It's just I'm waiting for summer, I guess, and I'm
Wow.
just waiting for summer.
Same here. Same here. Spring is coming and we're already in spring, so summer is coming actually.
Did you guys get a lot of wind today?
No. We're fine actually today.
I always wonder if the reason we get really fast winds sometimes is because the planet is spinning faster or something. You know what I mean? It's just one of those feelings you
Right.
get. But we had winds blowing stuff all over the inside of the house today because we'd
Wow.
open one or two windows. It was like 40-mile-an-hour winds on a nice, bright, sunny day.
This is wow.
But the winds were crazy all day today. So it's just been one of the things. But speaking of crazy, we
Yeah.
got Sam Altman to talk about today. So let's talk
Yeah.
about Sam Altman and his craziness. I did this little search today just to
Yeah.
see what the talk was that Ray was mentioning. And I
Yeah.
found it kind of interesting that right away, oh, it looks like my desktop share's gone somewhere. Where is it? Just went away. I looked for the news, and this is what I got from Sam Altman. It's basically OpenAI opens its Glaze Heavy Seed or ChatGPT update. OpenAI Sam Altman says it glazed too much, starts sucking up lately because he's fixing the sycophant ways of
Yeah.
OpenAI. What's going on with OpenAI, Ray? What's with this
Yeah. I think
annoying?
Altman trying to release a lot of updates, right, for different models. So last week we talked about they released 4.1,
Yep.
and also the O 4 mini or nano models. But last week, I think April 26th, they also update 4.0, which is their major model, like most people are using. So they want to increase the intelligence and the personality of 4.0. I think they, retrain the model a little bit, make it more personalized and more has more character, right? And then a lot of I think under the Twitter post of Sam Altman, a lot of people um, complain that the 4.0 becomes a yes man, more like everything's yes,
I didn't
too
hear that.
compliant and too obedient. So, and then Sam Altman just says that they tweak the model a little bit, and it seems like sycophant or crazy now. So they want to change the model back to normal. I think that's so funny. I think they want to make the model better and more intelligent, but turned out that the yeah, I haven't tried for all yet, because we make Nux AI default model 4.1, which is like 20%
Mhm.
cheaper than 4.0. So we haven't, fortunately, we didn't use 4 as our default model. Otherwise, I think people would think the AI become dumb compared with the previous version. Yeah. So I think that's what Sam Altman was doing, like try to make smarter, but
Yeah. Okay, sorry for the delay there, folks. We just had a little break in the internet connectivity, so we're just going to move on with what we've got here. We don't see much else going on. So let's just highlight then, Ray. We were talking about how Sam Altman's model changes have caused this somewhat sycophant, annoying response or a yes man response, a little
yeah,
too many pleases and thank yous, let's say.
yeah,
So this highlights a challenge when it comes to tuning personality. And I have to say, I've been doing it all weekend because I
yeah,
was setting up an personalized email campaign for an insurance
yeah.
broker. And in
Wow.
doing so, I have an automation that is
Mhm.
allowing me to connect to an LLM step. And I've
Yeah,
created an incredible framework that actually allows me to generate a personality and then a very structured email based on some demographics that I know about the contact. And I was going at it for a while and getting amazing results. And then all of a sudden, it went
yeah.
off the rails. It was like it was not
Wow.
the same personality. And it was
Yeah.
because I switched models. It was just
Oh.
one model shift that
Mhm.
changed the entire way the LLM responded. And I was like, wow, same prompt. And you would
Yeah.
kind of expect in some way or another that you could take that prompt from one LLM to another
Yeah.
and have a similar response, but the difference was varied, and I was pretty taken back by that. So, what do you think about all this? Why does alignment affect tone like that?
Yeah. So I think it has to go back to the way that the transformer model works for the different large language models. For example, I think they use same algorithm, but the data they use to train the transformer model, for example, for Claude, is different with ChatGPT, because for Claude they use more data to generate content and coding, versus ChatGPT is more well-rounded. It's not specialized for coding or any not for coding or any other specific tasks, but it's for generic tasks. So therefore, it's like any like human beings, right? You train a child with any knowledge, then it shape the personality or characters of the person. Model is the same thing. So if you use, for example, if you use Claude to send out the email sequence versus you use ChatGPT or DeepSeek, I think the tone and also the email's content will be very different, the style, right? And the message delivered. So I think the end result will be different. So I also remember that Anthropic CEO also mentioned that Cloud has a special character,
Yeah,
and GP has different character, just different. It's just like human being,
based
because
on the
we,
designer, it's kind of like a Frankenstein thing. You build
yeah, exactly,
Frankenstein, and it's whatever you made it to be. So, yeah, it's
yeah,
always going to be that
whatever you
editorial.
feed them, right?
Yeah,
They're
I
what
find it
they,
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
It's just, what has your team done? Have you done anything particular to avoid these kind of persona issues when it comes to modeling? Do you have a framework that you've designed yourself, or do you follow like a standardized framework other people have used to model personality on an LLM?
Well, when because we didn't do any fine tuning or we didn't build our own model, we still use either Cloud or ChatGPT as our base model. So the way we work is not actually use data to train the models, but we use prompt to adjust to the models. So we actually, most of the work we have been doing is actually to get into to reach, I mean, to sense the boundaries of different models,
Hmm.
right? For
Yeah, that
example,
makes
Cloud
sense.
is 3.4, I mean 3.7 is very good at coding,
Hmm.
but it cannot code everything. So we use prompt to push the boundary, push the the envelope, um, the edge of
Sure.
the envelope, right, out of the model. So see what exactly they can do and what exactly they cannot do. So I think that's the difference between different models, because different models has different boundaries for different vertical knowledge. For example, coding or content generation or
Yeah,
image generation.
research, marketing.
Yep,
There's all types of
research,
different niches that
exactly.
maybe and take
Or
precedence
reasoning,
there.
more
Yeah,
importantly,
reasoning
right?
would be the big
Reasoning,
one
they
for
have
sure.
different capability in terms of reasoning or coding.
Hmm.
So it's all about how we can use prompt to test the boundaries and fully utilize the advantages of each different models. I think that's what
Now,
we do.
now, do you feel like a personality per se is,
Mhm.
and this is just something off the cuff.
Yeah.
I look at an AI assistant as somebody more neutral,
Yep.
that doesn't speak back, that doesn't, takes orders, that just does what it's asked to do without any questioning, unless it's like out of the ordinary, like you're trying to do something unorthodox or against the rules or against the law or something like that. I think an AI assistant should step in and say, hey, what do you think you're doing here? But this persona thing, this trying to replicate a human's personality, I don't think it's necessary. I think it
Okay.
should kind of just be what it is. It's an AI autonomous agent. It's a personality of sorts, but it doesn't have to be human. It just has to be able to answer questions in a formal fashion that comes across politely and reasonable. So
Well,
that's how I view
yeah.
it.
Ideally, I think that's the way it should work. But I think the way that transformer model works is that it's just it learn from human. I think
Hmm.
it's work like humans neurons, right?
Yeah.
So I give you another example, like Grok, Elon Musk's Grok model. It's more ironic, it's more extreme, but it's
It
also
is.
super smart, right? It's not as friendly as Cloud or as ChatGPT. So I think
He's
that
like a cocky college kid, I think, is what he
exactly a cocky college kid from MIT or Stanford, right? It's not a
or
very
some
gentle.
flunky from some Animal House,
Yeah,
type thing. That's for sure.
exactly. So I think the way it works that we want the AI to be neutral or
Yeah.
be objective, but because the way it works just like human brains, right? The
Hmm.
data the data we use to train the model make it somehow has its own personality. We did not know how, but we figured that it does has certain kind of personalities.
Yeah.
So it's really because we got the human intelligence from by imitating human brain. It's
Hmm.
not the algorithm. It's just like the way the human brain works. We don't know why, but
Yeah.
we know how. We just know it works. I think that's it's a black box, right? So I
Kind of.
think
Yeah.
that's make it work this way.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on trying to
Yeah,
make sure it's perfect because I've tried enough building personalities
yeah,
on AI chat bots and everything
yeah,
else to understand that it never holds its shape. It's something that it will build the biggest, best framework in the world, but at some point it's going to cripple it, and you just have to kind of let it be. So let's move on, Ray. Vibe coding. Tools to compare seem to be the thing nowadays, especially with EZsite AI topping the product hunt list at number one. I'm glad that you managed to pull that off, Ray. And I think
yeah.
it's a wonderful thing. So you're up against some of the big players out there like Cursor and Bolt and Lovable. What's been the response from some of the users that have been on those platforms?
Yeah, so we always got some queries from the users that what's the difference between bolt, new, or cursor or allowable. Actually, web coding is so popular these days. Other venture capitalist firms are after web coding tools, and also a lot of customers want to try different tools. But really, what is the difference between all different kind of web coding tools? Um, for example, Cursor is targeting developers, which means that you need to have a lot of coding knowledge or background in order to use Cursor more efficiently, right? To build a better code. And the use case is for developers to help in their daily jobs to write faster and better code. Uh, so Cursor is the first popular AI web coding tool. And then, but the more demands are coming from non-developers like business owners, product managers, UI designers. So therefore,
Sure.
Bolt and Lovable came into the marketplace versus
Gotcha.
Bolt can do both front end and the back end, but it also requires certain kind of coding principles. For example, even though you do not need to know how to write React or ASP.NET or Java as a coding or Python as coding language, but you still need to know the concept, how to build a stable and mature software product in order to use both new or Lovable.
Sure.
Well, versus Lovable is a I think I would say is a second generation web coding tool. It's make web coding much easier than Bolt,
Hmm.
but the drawback is that it does not have backend. It does not have database. So you have to use Supabase, right? So for business owners or project managers with not enough sufficient Supabase knowledge, it's going to be a pain on the ass. You do
Yeah,
not
for
need
sure.
to, you don't know how to connect Supabase or how to configure different parameters.
Hmm.
So therefore, EZsite's benefit is that we target the non-coders with zero coding background, mainly the business owners or project managers, someone with a mind idea, someone knows what they want to build but didn't know how. Um, so that's why we have a built-in database, and and also we have our own mini CRM, and so that's a unique selling point that you know, yeah, it's much easier to use. So that's why we call it EZsite, right? It's a easy to use website or app, full stack app builder.
I love the new menu tableization and the tableization that you've got here, Ray, for the
Yeah,
dashboard. This is
yeah.
nice. It's all new stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
as Ray was talking, I was simply going through the website pages that you would see for Cursor, Bolt, and Lovable, and I've
Mm-hmm.
used a couple of them. I've been on Lovable.
Yeah.
I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been on Cursor because I'm not really much of a coder
Yeah,
myself, but I know friends that have, and they seem to like it for coding adventure.
yeah.
But when it comes to Bolt, I have played with that one, but honestly, it's a different process. It's more sluggish than
Yeah,
EZsite. I can give it that. Yours runs
yeah,
much faster than Bolt.
yeah.
And it didn't have all the easy access points that you have to connect to databases, to find the
Yeah.
CRM, to connect to the
Mm-hmm.
people who are using the site. I mean, they all have
Exactly.
templates, right? But
Yeah.
yours are kind of unique. You've got templates out of the order. Like you have app templates. And speaking of apps, what's this latest feature drop I just saw about a one-click mobile app generator? That sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool. Tell me about that, Ray.
Yeah, sure. So during after our launch product hunt for EZsite, there are a lot of customers say, "Hey, Ray, can EZsite generate a mobile app instead of only a website for us?" So initially, I think mobile app is not that popular in North America or European market. We may not want to do it, but after we did some research, we find out there's a big demand for mobile app,
Yeah.
but I don't think both new or Lovable they make the process to build a mobile app so easy.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so my idea is that we want to use one click to turn the website you build into a mobile app and publish right away. That way that you know you can build an app just for your own brand. So I think
Nice.
that's yeah, it's a create a new market
Let me throw
for
another one at you because I own a SaaS as
yeah,
well. That's another platform that I build
yeah.
on that allows me to create Chrome extensions on the fly
Wow,
for like
interesting.
for scraping data.
Yeah,
So I would think if there was a way you could develop a small Chrome extension that would do what you needed to do, whether it's get content off an Amazon
yeah,
sales site or what
yeah.
have you, because
Sure.
I've got scrapers that do that too.
Yeah,
I think you'd find a lot of use case there. So something to look into
yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
All right. And
Yeah.
also, you've added an OpenRouter API key integration to the system. So I found that's pretty cool. But back to one thing on the app development. So is that going to be an Android and iOS type based app, or is it a PWA type app that would be created?
So natively is Android
Oh,
because
okay.
Android is much easier to publish.
Oh, absolutely.
You can also do iOS, but you have to go through the App Store review procedure. iOS is not a story. Yes, we can do that, but yeah, they're how to they're in the process there are a lot of manual
Yeah.
editing or
Based.
manual work that you need to do. So it's not one click, but yes, you can do iOS. Android is much easier.
Yeah, APK files, and then
Yeah.
iOS is also an application fee. Is it still only $100, or do they charge more than that now
Yes, I
per
think it's,
application?
yeah,
Like
I
two
think
hundred bucks
still,
probably,
yeah,
250.
it's much expensive than that.
Okay, well that deters a lot of iOS development nowadays, mostly because I think
Mhm.
people have gotten over the siloed format that iOS developed, even though Android is starting to take that approach a little bit with their build now. I think most people in the end prefer the open architecture of Android anyway. All right, the OpenRouter API
Yeah.
integration is something that's going to be for endpoints just for custom keys. So how does that work within a website builder, Ray? What's that going to do for us?
Yeah, so the OpenRouter API feature we built is that because we want people, our customer can use their own key, right? BYOK. We have a
Sure.
BY bring your own key price plan, which is much cheaper, $10 a month, with all the fancy features. But the only I think challenge that you need a cloud API account, tier 4 account to ensure the performance because tier 4 account give you a good rate limit and
Sure.
like the input tokens per per minute.
Hmm.
So for new user, you cannot get tier 4 account. So that's why we offer the OpenAI, OpenRouter API account to
Oh,
allow
okay.
customers to buy tokens directly from EZsite, use our account. So
Hmm.
that's why we call it OpenRouter. It means that you do not need to get it from Claude.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah,
That makes more
and
sense.
we will make the whole billing process very transparent.
Hmm.
We don't make any money out of that, but we want to make it fair. We want to make our users be able to access tier 4 account directly.
And that's how it makes it more convenient. Everybody, there's a
Yeah.
lot of that. Go get your API key. Go click here. Go click there. Go open this.
Yeah.
Go open that.
Yeah.
Just to connect to it. I mean, it takes forever, and your layman isn't going to want to go through that process. You almost have to hire a tech guy just to set you
Sure.
up with a little AI app. So it is a little confusing for a lot of people. All right, well,
Exactly.
let's just wrap it up. Right, we're a little over
Yeah.
time as it is, so I
Mhm.
know I don't want to carry you over, but this obviously means lower cost for the power users, a flexible API usage with greater control, and even faster deployment for the mobile ready tools. So, the mission reminder: bring AI to automate your business. As Ray has always said, he's empowering non coders, creatives, and business builders with intuitive tools to produce serious results. So, if you want to know
Awesome.
more about those results, come by every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern
Yes.
Daylight Time, where Ray and I discuss what's going on in the AI trends and what's happening with New Oaks AI. So, and of course, EZsite. Can't wait to see what happens next, Ray. I would like to see things expand.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got other ideas coming down the pike, so can't wait to
Sure.
see what your next adventure is, and we'll talk about that next time. So, see you.
All right.
Take
See you
care now. Have
next
a
Tuesday.
great
Bye
evening.
bye.
Bye bye.